boosting. So since our population is boosting, we need food. We need to feed ourselves. We need to even export if possible. So, Mr. President, I support that we pass this, we give this bill a second reading, and even pass it further. Thank you very much.
Senator Akabondo. So round up everything.
Thank you, Mr. President, for recognizing me. As a matter of fact, I was going to borrow Senator Victor May's cap so that you will see me properly. I remain Austin Akobundu representing Abia Central Senatorial District. Your Excellency, the reasons and objectives which this bill speaks to are both compelling and convincing. And our colleagues across the aisle have adumbrated on the advantages of this bill. So I join them in supporting, as a round-off, that this bill be read a second time. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Senator Akobundu, a retired colonel of Nigerian Army, a patriotic Nigerian, and an open doing legislator. Thank you for your insight and contribution. To this end, let me now put the question. Those in favor that the bill be read a second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act, Cap 812, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for the establishment of the Federal College of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry, Tilase, Gombe State, and for related matters 2024. Second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Cap A 12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for the establishment of the Federal College of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry, Tilase, Gombe State, and for later matters 2024, second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions to report back within 2 weeks. Let me commend Senator Anthony for bringing forward this bill. He has said it clearly that his area is a food basket of Gombe State. And as said by several speakers, we need at all times to train those who are engaging in our agricultural sector, because it's the backbone of our economy. And that training should be in contemporary ways of doing the business of agriculture. We can no longer rely on the old ways of subsistence farming. And when you have institutions like these, the better, because they will train the necessary manpower to man our zeal to develop our agriculture sector. It is therefore something to commend Senator Anthony for doing by bringing forward this bill. It shows that he is up to his task as a good representative of his people. More grace to your elbows. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, you will recall that we previously stood down the all-important first order which was on factoring assignment and receivables, the financial bill. We did it because the papers were not ready, and we want to move a motion that we bring back that first order. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion ably moved by the Senate Leader. I so second.
Let me therefore call on Senator Abiru Mukail Aditukumbo, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Banking and Other Financial Institutions, Baba Adini, and do I need to conclude? And the few. I should continue the. Okay. So you have the floor to present your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Adetokunbo Abiru, and I represent Lagos East. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, it is my honor and it is an honor and privilege to lead the debate on the bill on factoring assignments and receivables financing bill of 2023 for the second reading. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, it is my pleasure and delight to lead this debate on the general principles on the bill for an act to create a legal framework for factoring assignments and for rules relating to the assignment of receivables in order to create transparency and also ensure adequate protection for the interest of creditors, debtors, and in order to promote the availability of capital and credit and to facilitate both domestic and international trade for related matters. The bill seeks to create an avenue where interest of contractual right to payment of the monetary sum by a debtor is transferred by agreement to a third party called the factor. It is a service involving a financial transaction, that is invoices to a third party called the factor, with the factor assuming full credit and collection of responsibilities. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, this new means of financing is referred to as debt factoring. Debt factoring is simply put the sale of receivables by one entity due from another party to a third party known as the factor, and it is done at a discounted price for immediate cash. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, factoring is recognized as a type of supplier financing in which firms sell their credit-worthy accounts receivable at a discount and receive immediate cash. And basically, it is a practice whereby a company, having supplied goods to a buyer, then goes ahead to sell the invoice to a third party who assumes the responsibility of collecting the debt owed to the supplier. It is essentially, a means of providing working capital for micro, small, and medium enterprises so that their operation cycle can be faster. So without going too much into the other dictates, the details of the bill, I will crave the indulgence of my colleagues that the speedy passage of this bill, with your support, will not only promote a suitable regulatory and legal environment to support the rapid development of factoring services, but will also contribute towards integrating Nigeria into the global factoring market and enable it tap into about 2.6 trillion global factoring market. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill has no financial implication and no compendium is attached as required by Order 76, Sub 3 of the Senate Standing Orders as amended. So I therefore urge you all to support this bill, and I hereby move that the bill be read a second time. I thank you very much for your attention. I so move, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. I now yield the floor to Chief Emeritus. Thereafter, the Chairman Finance Committee will give his insight because it's a bit technical and We need to give those who have background in banking to break it down so that others will understand. Even though it has been simplified by the sponsor, which you did very well by not going into the technicalities, uh, by going straight to what the intendment of faith, which is creating, giving the opportunity to small and medium scale industry to have working capital. That is the key, which is something that's good because the backbone of our economy is the SMEs. They are the SMEs. They are the backbone. Um, Senator Ojika, you have the floor, the Chief Emeritus.
Thank
Oh,
you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me this opportunity. My name is Senator Oji Ozokalo. I represent Abia North Senatorial District. I am up to support this bill because this bill, I don't know why, when even the ninth Senate we do not remember to put this kind of bill to an act, because this bill all over the world is what the small manufacturers, small traders, small business people use to put cash in the system. With this kind of bill, we will have excessive cash in the float will be there, not every time running to the bank, because when you do factoring, small businessmen use their invoices to borrow money from a third party, and it might be discounted. If it's money, like for example 10 naira, the factorer can give it off for maybe 7 naira, for 5 naira, as agreed, so he can pay the bank or pay the financial institution, maybe insurance companies and all the rest of them. So I stand to support and second the motion that this bill should go for second term, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, Niger East Senatorial District. I also stand to support this bill because this is the kind of bill that we need now in this country. Looking at the fact that our financial system does not all the time guarantee small and medium scale entrepreneurs taking loans, because if you go to the bank to take loans at very much high interest rates, it has been very difficult. So with this breach, it will create a lot of investment, and then it will give small and medium scale entrepreneurs the opportunity to go into investments with those that can give them their goods. Example, if you look at the pharmaceuticals, they have been doing it before now, but if we are able to bring a legislation, it will work. If you look at pharmaceutical companies, the big ones, they will produce, and then they have all these pharmaceutical pharmacies, is it chemists you call them? You will see they don't have that liquidity at which they can go directly to the factory to buy. But these companies now give them these products and then stagger it. After receiving their invoices, they will maybe give them 90 days, give them 120 days for them to be able to at least recoup from what they sell to be able to make those payments. So if we bring it as a law, I think we're not only helping our economy, but also we will, as much as possible, bring out a lot of people out of poverty with this. So I believe my distinguished colleagues will allow this to go for the second reading. Thank you, Mr. President.
the Leader Emeritus.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to support this bill, particularly because of its importance in the kind of economy we're operating today. It's an economy in which small-scale operators, farmers, businessmen, and small industrialists and processors do not have that capital to make investments in enhancing value, from their activities. Going through the normal banking system The procedures are so onerous that few of those who occupy the largest economic space, in our economy are able to really secure capital for improvement and investment in their productive activities. In fact, this particular means of financing and capital formation is not alien to our own local traditions, because we know, even when we are small children, factors come, and sometimes they don't even need to give out money. They provide inputs, they provide seeds, they provide so much support to agricultural producers. At the end of the season, the producers pay them with the proceeds of the output that they have already made. And when you come to commodity trading, this is why you see factoring really there. Therefore, actually, in this country, we don't have a law that ties these traditional, only the traditional industrialists and local manufacturers and local processors and even farmers still in our local environment do this factoring. But they do it more on the basis of trust, between the factor and the producer and the people who eventually get the debt. And at the end of the day, it's working in the local environment. But there is a need, if we want to really, get enough capital to the small scale industrial and productive and processing sector, which is the largest chunk of our economy. In the manufacturing sector, the banks and all the other things can come. But if we have a law, that governs this particular transaction, it will bring it out in the open so that capital, can be available. For example, I can be a factor. If I can go to a bank, based maybe on my own thing and collect a lot of money, then go back to my village. Anybody who is producing certain goods and services that I want, he can come through me. I will supply both cash, fertilizer, inputs, and all the, provide him with the normal capital that he requires. But really, there is no law that regulates this unseen environment. But if we have a law now, that's what more people are now can be able to go and get loans, from the banks and from whatever, and then use it locally as capital to give to local industries and local producers so that they can have the necessary capital that will expand their production in order for them. And the only way we can be able to get these local industries to get the capital for them to move out of subsistence is through this kind of arrangements. Therefore, I want to commend and congratulate Senator Abiru, for this very innovative thinking, of bringing about this kind of this sector. And I think my colleagues to really look at this and support the bill. I think whenever we see the actual bill, and the provisions, we will make some improvements on the way in which the law is drafted. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
And thank you very much as an economist, the way you've been able to, get it simplified the entire thing for our understanding. This is a wonderful and commendable. So, you have an accountant, you have an insight to the accounting perspective of the bill. I'm sure, probably.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, and Siaro Adamasa. I rise to lend my voice in support of this bill, the second reading of the bill. First, because credit is what actually drives economies, and other advanced economies will not thrive on credit. And we need to provide a legal framework for credit to thrive in this environment. So for that reason, I'm supporting this bill. I'm also supporting it because this is a bill that has no financial implication. This is a bill that does not create any new agency, because I'm sure if it were, the new company will raise an issue on that. So for this reason, Mr. President, I support this bill and I ask my colleagues to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Nelda, do you want to give a little insight to its efficacy or Okay, let's see. Maybe you want to give us some legal perspective to it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Neither I also represent Edo South. Well, I also stand to make the move of this bill and to support it. But I hope I understand what the bill is all about. Because in addition to what others have said, I think this is, in one word, is about debt collection. Debt collection. We're talking about you giving up your rights to credit, which someone owes you, because you don't have time to run after the debtor. And you sell it at a discount. He owes you $100 for 100 naira, for instance, and then he sells it to you for 50 naira. And then you go after the debtor to collect either the 100 naira in full or you collect 70 naira, so you can also make a profit. This is what this is really all about. But in addition to what other speakers have said, it is something that is desirable at this time in our economy. Because for businesses to really thrive, they need more concentration in what they do, rather than having another time going after debtors. Again, because it's a bill that doesn't require any establishments or it doesn't require the federal money to be involved in it. It's something that I think and I believe and I support that we should pass.
Senator Mandine, thereafter you will take on Senator Adam Shomole, who will be glad to speak. But he said he doesn't need any agency. I'm sure you have understood that.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Ingo. I represent Delta State. Mr. President, in supporting this bill, may I put on record that this was exactly a bill that I also sponsored the first time that we were inaugurated here in the Senate. I don't know what happened to the bill, but I believe a bill has been read the second time. Perhaps at some point there will be some kind of consolidation of the two bills. But just like Senator Miller said, this bill is about debt financing. And simply put, it creates a new class of financiers. So that if somebody is owed money, just as I said, Peter said, if somebody is owed money, you simply go to any of these authorized debt financiers and sell your debt or judgment. Let's put it, sell your judgment to them. And they will take the time to pursue the judgment debtor whilst you discount your debt. So it's a very simple mechanism. It is done all over the world. And it is only in a credit economy that this can function. So it is so important to understand that it will create a new class of financiers who will sit down in their homes and people will come to them with court judgments and say to them, look, I have a judgment, but I don't have money. So they will make the money available, part of it, and then give up their right. The new person takes up the matter and goes to enforce it against the judgment. That's what it is all about. So I totally support it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Adams Oshomole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just for the record, I don't have anything against spending money. I just believe that given our national priorities, we have to scale down so that we can find resources to do capital projects. So I don't want Mr. President to think that I am opposed to expenditure. For example, all the embassies and whatever.
Senator Adams, let me say that the Senate is in your support, because part of our agenda here is that we should cut the cost of running our government. And what we are standing for always in this regard is in that respect. So we are supportive of you. What you are doing is good. That is good that you are vehement by ensuring that we don't create unnecessary agencies. That is good for our system and it's in line with global best practice.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm taking this home as a commendation letter. I want to ask questions because I'm no longer carried away by ideals. I look at the Nigerian peculiar environment and ask myself the question: what works in America, what works in Germany may not work in Nigeria. Laws must be informed by the character of the citizens, our value system. When I was much younger in Kaduna, there were these finance houses that were set up everywhere. In Edo, they call the center one they call Planwell. By the time they explained what they were doing, it was very exciting. It looks very good. People will make money. You say you don't need to go to a formal banking, and so on and so forth. In the end, it didn't quite work out that way. Indeed, many people ran into serious difficulties. This topic for me, this bill for me, is extremely technical. So technical that I do not think, for those of us who are not gifted children, gifted brain, that we can see, visit, digest, and conclude. A bill like this, with all the technicalities involved in it, I would think that the entire government of the bill ought to be submitted. We have time to read through it, we consult those experts, and arrive at a decision. So that let it not record us like recently. We pass the law, there's an error, and by the time it's being operationalized, you see that those who are supposed to be beneficiaries becomes victims. So it's not about the intention of my brother, my dear friend, a complete gentleman, but it's about, in the real world, how to apply this. Because reading through it, I don't know others are more lucky than me. I will need someone who knows something about financing, someone who is familiar with laws, etc., to go through it, the actual bill, because we are debating a deep debate of a bill that is not with us. And I think that each time we are doing it here, I think we are violating our standing law, which says that if we want to pass a law, let's have the draft. Because the detail is always, the devil is always in the details. I have no objection to intentions, but I have reservations as to whether or not we ought to be able to discuss this thing firsthand, digest it, appreciate all that it stands for. Yahya has been a leader, he's an economist, he have a heavy understanding. Some of us who didn't have that background might need more tutorials on it, so that we don't pass it on that when we want to operationalize it, it will appear that we didn't quite understand the essence of this law. Those are my concerns. I talk about concerns. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, my former national chairman, that I respect so much. Your facts are very germane, what you talked about, getting information in respect to the bill to be debated ahead of time so that you can study that. I said earlier that this bill is a bit technical, but thank God we have everyone this year, particularly a former leader who will try to explain it very well. But that does not take away your right to have information as to what to be presented ahead of time so that you can do that. That said, but let me emphasize what in order to go to our rules, in respect to second reading, because what we are doing now is a debate on the second reading of the bill. And I refer you to Order 79 of the Standing Rules. On the order for the second reading of a bill being read, a mention may be made that the bill be now read a second time. And a debate may arise covering the general merits and principles of the bill. So we are not expected to go to the nitty-gritty of the bill at this stage. What we need to do is to discuss the merits and the principle of the bill. So no point to go into the technicalities, no point to go into the nitty-gritty. That will be dealt with at a later stage. So An advice information has been given to you. You can now pick what you are doing here, go to your consultants, talk to them. Do you now support the bill when the report is brought, or you attack it? So armed with what you are given, by the time you still have an opportunity, you may go to the public hearing, or you may not even go there. Come back here when the report is brought here, armed with your facts, you can now attack and get the bill killed if you can, if you are successful. So here, what we are doing now is about the merits and general principles of the bill. Thank you very much. Senator Olajide, you have the floor.
Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, I have to thank my brother, Senator Abibu, for this beautiful bill that I brought up today. And I want to believe that all businessmen across the country watching this proceeding will be happy to see that this important bill says through. Whether you are small scale or you are large scale business person, for this bill to stay through, you will be very, very happy and to support it. Now, the arrangement between the purchasers of labor and services in the recent times are not met. The vendees just see putting contract or putting an agreement in place to service a particular project is just a mere academic exercise. When they say they are going to pay you in 30 days, in 40 days, you find out that after they have performed the required services, you discover they will not even pay. It may be 60 days, it may be 90 days, some will even take more than 1 year. But when they now find out that this kind of bill is already in place to checkmate this ineffectiveness, they will be willing to settle their bill as at when due. They will meet with the contraceptual aspect of whatever contract is put in place. So on this basis, I strongly support this bill for the second time, that it should sail through without any problem. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Wadada Aliyu, you have the floor. Then Senator Sani Wasiru Burano.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Senator Ahmed Wadada Aliyu, Sarkin Yakin Kefi, the famous Kosla. I would like to congratulate the sponsor of this bill, because it is a very contemporary. The literature of the bill depicts contemporariness as far as financial transactions are concerned. It is as simple and as clear as this. In commodity trading, there is what is called forwards. You sell your commodity ahead of when it will be fully ready, but at discounted rate. If a commodity that sells, if a commodity sells for 10 naira now, and I have same commodity that will be ready in 2 months, I could sell it to Senator Sani Musa, because I know he does forwards, against that period, but at discounted rate, maybe 8 naira or 7 naira. And in this case, you have payment that you are expecting in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and you are in dire need of liquidity. So you go to a financier who now becomes the factor, to give him the details of the asset you have that shall be maturing in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And that financier gives you money, but he is taking out the consideration to be given to you will come with discount. And that creates liquidity around. And the betterment of every economy is determined by the level of liquidity in the economy. And so this will bring up what is called financial engineering. So, Senator Abiru, you have brought your knowledge and experiences to bear. But I'm just giving the easy. Yes, I'm facing the chair.
You are protected, the host rider. Continue.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is what it is. And so I think with the little I have said, it is as clear and as easy and understandable as it is. I so contribute.
Thank you very much. Just helping you. You stood to educate us about what this stands for. So that is adding more spice to it. You are right. You are right. So, Senator Thomas, do you want to say something too? Okay.
Thank you, the Senate President. Wasil Olatunji Eshikokusoni, Senator representing Lagos Central. Rise to support this bill sponsored by Senator Tokunbo Abi. I just want to add that has been said that it is useful for small organizations. It is not only true, it is useful even to government. And as we speak, even some government do sell their receivable. What will be accrued to them the next 1 year and take money at a discounted rate. Either small, big, or medium use this method to receive funds. And some people who have idle funds will do it and be able to get a return on what they have done. It is useful in all sectors and to every organizations, not particularly to small or medium scale businesses, either even government. So I rise to give my total and non-allowed support, and I think that it is a bill that is not overdue, and then it's just now laying the legal framework for what has been happening over the years. So thank you, sir, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Thomas. You guys good solidarity for Lagos solidarity was on Tabiru's bidding. That's good. And last but not the least, we hear from Otumba, distinguished Senator Otumba Benga Daniels, former governor of the state. You have the floor.
Thank you, sir. The Senate President, I'm Otumba Benga Daniels, representing the East. And just permit me to say that I'm fulfilling my duty and responsibility as a member of the Bank and Financial Review Committee. If I don't rise to support this wonderful bill proposed by Senator our chairman. The part of this that excites me is that of debt discounting, which he has aptly described as debt factoring. This is because, as you are aware, of quite a number of people who are in private practice, from time to time, you have plenty of receivables. Some of these receivables can run into very huge. And sometimes we have to write them off when it's clear that we may not be able to recover them. So if we have opportunities backed by a deal like this to discount some of these receivables, I think it's something that most corporate organizations will be very, very happy about. So once again, I want to thank you and all the people who have supported this. This appears to be one of the few unanimous bills that I have seen. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, OGB. We have closed the debate, but I must allow Senator Peter Gube, being a former chairman of the National Party, ABGA, who wants to speak so that the South will not be marginalized. Should be given a chance to speak.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Senator Victor Ume. I represent Anambra Central Secretariat District. Mr. President, this bill is not for Southeast. It's a national bill, and I'm rising to support it based on the lead debate presented by sponsor Senator Abiu Bukaili Dokumbo. First of all, looking at the lead debate, you will see that other strong economies in Africa, like the South Africa, Tunisia, Morocco, they've all bought into factoring as presented. And that has enabled these economies to have funds from global financial institutions, including Afrexim Bank. They've been able to benefit from this scheme to the tune of several billions of euros. And for me, anything that will bring funds into Nigeria to enable our businesses to grow and thrive under the set out arrangements, I will greatly support it. If this fund is available and we just need to pass a home bill for our medium and small scale enterprises to benefit from this fund. Because those who make these funds available require factoring before the countries can access the funds. So on this note alone, and relying on the expertise of the chairman of banking, I don't have any hesitation in urging the Senate to support that this bill be read for a second time, so Nigeria will benefit from this wonderful scheme. Thank you, Mr. President. You can see the national contribution.
Well, this position has also been national, not only Southeast. I just joke with that. You are a national figure. You are everywhere. Whatever concerns Nigeria, you are there.
Thank
you. We know you for that, and thank you for that stance.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, to this end, I now put the question that this bill be read the second time. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish Factoring Assignments Act to provide for principles and to adopt rules relating to the assignment of receivables in order to create certainty and transparency and to promote the modernization of the law relating to assignments whilst protecting existing assignment practices and facilitating the development of new practices and ensuring adequate protection for the interests of debtors in order to promote the availability of capital and credit and to facilitate domestic and international trade and for related matters 2024. Second reading.
A bill for an act to establish Factoring Assignments Act to provide for principles and to adopt rules relating to the assignment of receivables in order to create certainty and transparency and to promote modernization of the law relating to assignments, whilst protecting existing assignment practices and facilitating development of new practices
there's one lady that wants to see you. Say her name
and
is
protection for the interests of debtors in order to promote the availability of capital and credit and to facilitate domestic and international trade and for related matters 2024 second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions, as well as the Committee on Finance, to report within 2 weeks. Let me commend Senator Abiu, who is known for his exploits in the banking sector before he was elected to be the senator representing his zone. Professional par excellence and someone that's upright, always churning out bills that help to stabilize our economy. You've done very well by once again bringing forward this very, very important bill, which has received the acceptance of majority of our colleagues, going by the contributions made during the second reading of the debate. I'm sure this bill, when passed into law, will help to provide the necessary working capital and make business easier for the small and medium scale enterprise in this country. As we know, this group of entities are the backbone of every up and doing economy. By what you've done now is a direct intervention in order to bring about a sound and up and running economy in Nigeria. So thank you very much. Thank you, and I commend our colleagues for your robust debate, and for the experts here, the former leader who is a renowned economist, Chairman Committee on Finance, and also Senator Wadada, and OGB for their insights. These are what they did have further broken all the technicalities for simple understanding of the intent of the bill. I thank everyone for their contribution. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. Senate President, the fourth and the last order of the day is a motion standing the name of Senator Musa Mohammed Sani on the collapse of Sungeru Bridge, situated along the busy Sungeru Tegina Road. Need for urgent repair to prevent further disruption and movement of people. Mr. President, we wish to invite Senator Musa Sani to move the motion.
Senator Sani Musa, Chairman Committee on Finance, and one of the leaders in Niger State. Indeed, in the central part of this country, you have the floor to present your motion. Because I know this motion is not only on behalf of Niger State, but on behalf of the entire North Central State.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this event. My distinguished colleagues, I'm Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East Senatorial District. I have a motion here on the collapse of the Zungeru Bridge, situated along the busy Minna-Zungeru Tegina Road. Need for urgent repairs to prevent further disruptions and movement of people. The Senate knows that the Zungeru Bridge, which is a critical federal infrastructure in the country, providing access across the Kaduna River, has collapsed. And due to its deteriorating condition and bad shape, traffic had been diverted to the old bridge, originally designed for railway use, but currently serving both rail and motor vehicles traffic. Also note that as a result of this diversion, the old bridge is under severe pressure, posing a significant threat of collapse, which could lead to catastrophic consequences as over 1,000 vehicles pass through the routes on daily basis in order to facilitate movement of people, essential goods and food items, just as we received the information of the collapse of another bridge, the Rara Bridge, which is another link between Minna-Tegina to Kebbi State. Further note that the diversion and disruption caused by the current state of the bridge has invariably restricted human and economic activities, with food supplies particularly affected and heightened insecurity in the areas, thereby occasioning hardships on the residents and travelers as well, and concerned that if urgent intervention measures are not put in place to address this infrastructural challenge, the continuous usage of the old bridge will lead to devastating social and economic consequences that will further aggravate insecurity and disrupt national supply chains, which will have far-reaching effect on the well-being of the citizens. Accordingly, Senate resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Works and the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to, as a matter of urgency, embark on immediate repairs, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of the Zungeru Bridge in order to prevent further collapse of the old bridge, lose of lives, protect national assets, and ensure free flow of economic activities and security in the region. Also urge the relevant ministries and agencies, especially the Nigerian Railway Corporation, to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge and put in place measures to avert further collapse. And finally, further urge the relevant authorities to assess and evaluate the state of bridges across the country with a view to outlining long-term strategies for the sustenance of federal infrastructures nationwide. You all recall that it happened in Jigawa, it happened in Bauchi State, so there is need for Federal Ministry of Works to do something about it. And I believe the Senate will consider this motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Alera Adamu Muhammad, former governor of Kebbi State.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Mohammed Adamu Alera, my name, I represent Kebbi State. Mr. President, I rise to second this very important motion, hopefully sponsored by my colleague, brother, Senator Sani Musi. As we all know, this year we witnessed very heavy rainfall. Serious infrastructural damage. Very devastating damage to road infrastructure. And to be honest, based on what the experts have said, for the last 30 years, we have not witnessed heavy downpour of rain for like this year. So it is not unexpected that there will be damage to the infrastructure. The Zungeru Bridge, which has been mentioned here, was built during the colonial era. And we cannot even accept the integrity of this bridge. It is really very, very risky now, heavy traffic to be passing through that bridge. So the earlier we prepare this bridge, the Zungeru Bridge, the better, so that we can avert further damage and calamity that will be likely. And he mentioned productivity in Kebbi State. Our brothers in the House of Representatives have already passed a motion on that. And I mentioned it to him that he should include this in this motion so that it can be a joint effort.
Why come to the prayer and then you introduce it?
Okay. So, this rather bridge also is the main link between Niger State and Kebbi State and even Zamfara and Kaduna State. So people now have to traverse over 400 kilometers instead of going just to the border to the Sokoto and Kenya. So we are in a very desperate situation to get this bridge repaired. And I urge my colleagues to do this very important motion. Thank you very much.
Senator Adams Oshomole, then Senator Kemplan, and then we'll move to the minority leader, Senator Musa Bederiki, then Senator Eko. You have the floor.
I want to thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to join those who have spoken to commend the distinguished Senator
Senator Musa Sani for this important motion. And for me, what this raises goes beyond fixing this particular bridge. When I was growing up, in the Ministry of Works, they have a department and they have equipment that they go routinely round federal roads. And we used to make joke of them. We say, slow men at work. And those agencies are still there, the ministry is still there. I believe a lot of equipment are still there. But you will see a crack on a bridge or even a crack on a road that can be fixed immediately. And we will wait until the bridge completely collapses, and then we will share people 90 years, and then we call on NAMA to provide relief, when this is something that would have been avoided in the first instance. I think in addition to supporting this motion, we should take advantage of this to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to live up to their responsibilities by monitoring all federal roads. I'm sure across the country they have federal controllers, and I think their job should go beyond awarding contracts to maintain roads that are already built. If this bridge is not fixed and it collapses, it will be difficult to calculate how much loss, not just in terms of economic issues, but even loss of lives. And it is not for North Central, it is for Nigeria. Because those who ply these roads don't need to have indigenship certificate. The way the Nigerian economy works is that one carry goods from one area, dump it in another state, somebody pick it from there to another place. When I was coming from my village sometime in 1967, 68, I passed through all those bridges, and I'm sure people are still being salty today. So I do not think this is something that is controversial, that we should maintain our national asset. It's a matter of common sense, that the ministry shouldn't wait for resolutions to draw their attention to their responsibility, not only to build roads, but to monitor those roads. We also have FEMA, whose business is to maintain federal roads. Maintenance is not limited to roads, it should also include bridges and any of those facilities that need to be in place so that Nigerian nation can get value for their money. Mr. President, I'm completely in support of this motion, and I want to thank I didn't know that, busy as he is, flying, those with private jet, that he even have idea that those of us who are destined to go by road, those are some of the bridges are in bad shape. I think you deserve to be re-elected by your constituency. Thank you, Mr. President.
But Senator Musa is also a comrade. He's also a comrade. What he's doing, he told me he's flying everywhere so that you will now see what the butchers are seeing, so that he come and tell you the comrades. That's what he's doing. So he's there for you.
So we will update our register of comrades. Thank you, sir. You will be carrying me too, so I can show you some corners.
So, Senator Dike Plan.
President of the Senate, my colleagues, I must commend you for allowing younger people to learn, sir, giving opportunity. I'm very grateful, sir. My colleagues, I'm Senator Dike Plan, representing Plateau Central. I rise again to sympathize with my senior brother for bringing the plight in Zingero, which is a Nigerian plight. But I rise again also, sir, to commend the Nigerian Meteorological Department, because the scientific reports are coming to reality. And therefore, it is for us as Nigerians to take note of these scientific information about excess rain and the damages that will come across. I think we need to commend them, because what they are saying is coming to reality. I again want to say that Zingero, being the former capital of the Northern Protectorate, is a historical town, and it's an outlet and inlet between the north and the south in terms of movements. And therefore, if this bridge is not repaired on time, the economic and social impact, not just to Niger, but to Nigerians from both sides cannot be quantified. And therefore, any urgency in terms of repairs must be what would be looked into. And again, sir, since our bridges and dams are responding this way, I would have loved that even in our comments, we will not be asking the relevant ministries just to watch what is happening on our roads alone, but even our dams, because the same thing happens with our dams. And most of our dams are very old, and there's a need for us even to look at our dams to avoid calamities. I commend I sympathize with him for what he has presented, and I believe that all the prayers that will be said here, I wish that they will be listened to, and then there will be quick response to enable us avoid all the social and economic calamities that this has brought to us.
Now to speak on this debate should be Senator Garba Musa Medoki.
Thank you very much, the Senate President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Garba Musa Medoki, Senator representing Kebbi South Senatorial District. I rise to support this motion because this collapsed bridge has been negatively impacted on my people. Distinguished colleagues, because of the complete dilapidation of the road from Tagina to Sahura to Kontagura, every traffic, the Senate President, from Kebbi State, from Sokoto, from Zamfara, from Katsina, now divert to Rumina, Niger State. And the only bridge that is connecting us is the Tagina Bridge, where the Dingeru Dam is somewhere at the back. Distinguished Senate President, Tagina deserve our attention. At one time, colleagues, Tagina was the headquarters of the northern region. Tagina was where Chief Awolowo was born. His umbilical cord was there. Azikwe and Awolowo, their parents were all working in railway in Tagina. We know their houses. Tagina has contributed seriously, sir, to the national development of this country. And it is unfortunate that we do not look back for the communities that has helped us to galvanize this country as a country of the same people, where people of various ethnicity came to converge, had a full lifestyle, had families, and call it home. And nobody was discriminated against. If we had built on that legacy, probably today, the question of creative for state, creative would have not been there. I seek your indulgence, sir. If this bridge is not fixed, I can guarantee you that the harvest for this year will not find a place to move to the southern part of Nigeria where it is badly needed. And lamentably, sir, between Tagina and Zungeru, sir, this is the hibernation of all the banditry in that place. So if vehicles now stay there for a day to have a simple passage through that narrow railway bridge, I hope we will not be here to be condoling. The Senate will send condolence to people because they have been kidnapped by bandits. That area is prone to kidnapping. And I seek the indulgence of these our colleagues that immediate solution, even if it is a temporary palliative, so that vehicles can start blowing that road, can be achieved. Thank you, sir.
The line to speak, Senator Ekom Samson, you have the floor, 2 minutes.
I want to throw my weight behind the type of my name is Ekom Samson. I call him Samson.
I really would like to throw my weight behind the type of opinion in favor of the prayer in this motion. Mine may be like a handshake across borders. From Akwa Ibom South, any pressure in Zungeru is as much felt in my area. My colleague has mentioned the place of Zungeru in history, the birthplace of the president. One can only add that I'm very much attached to Zungeru because of what I've read from Sifra Quincy, a great writer who was born in that great town and did a lot for literature in Nigeria. But beyond the Quincy, I think the time has come as a Senate, as an institution, for us to encourage, as we've been doing, a response mechanism that will help to assess our infrastructure, the integrity in our infrastructure. A bridge is a key infrastructure. We should not wait until a bridge is seriously compromised as well. We have to put in place a mechanism where there will be constant assessment of through integrity tests on our key infrastructure. If a bridge collapses and there's traffic on it, the consequences will be very, very grave. Against this backdrop, there's great merit in the prayers as contained in this motion, especially the third prayer that is
don't worry, we'll go there.
by Nigerian.
We'll go there.
So I want to support my colleague in a symbolic handshake across borders that this motion has merit and that we should readily intervene as this case persuades us. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ikam Sans. We now go to the prayers of Barrow's leader. Excellency, the President of the Senate, my distinguished colleagues, I was thinking that Mr. President's eye has not caught me, so I was looking the other way. But thank you for recognizing me. Mr. President, I want to lend my voice to this very important motion because it touches on the very fundamentals of our maintenance budget. Mr. President, in those days, we used to have the PWD, the Public Works Department, and across the highways of this country, all these camps were there. And they quickly responded to issues of potholes on our roads before they will escalate to the level of the impassable. Unfortunately, Mr. President, the PWD has been scrapped. Today we have the Ministry of Works, we have the FEMA. Mr. President, one of the critical observations that I've made in the course of time is our supervisory capacity in ensuring that things are done properly. And so, in most cases, when construction works are going on our roads, it doesn't go beyond mere surface dressing. That doesn't last for more than a year. And Mr. President, I can say that this is also responsible for the collapse of this bridge that we are talking about. Otherwise, the bridge is supposed to be a live project. And it's supposed to last for as long as it should. But unfortunately, because of our poor supervisory rules in the construction works on our various sites, we don't have that. And so, Mr. President, I think that as it is done in other times, and unfortunately here we had these toll gates, the process of toll gates ordinarily should be channeled towards the maintenance of our roads and our bridges. But ridiculously, we scrap the toll gates. Now we're crying of money, we don't have money to maintain our facilities. So, Mr. President, I think that
we should go back to the basics. Because right now, the challenge that we have is identifying where we have gone wrong in all ramifications of our national life. And so, if we go back to the basics, I believe if we get back to the basics, I believe that we can get it right. It doesn't matter how long it takes us to get these things done, but we must get it right for the sake of our people. Because this particular bridge that has collapsed now has various implications. The food that are moved from the south down to the north will be stuck. Human beings that will be going from the south to the north to go and do their business will be stuck. And so it affects all aspects of our life. And so, Mr. President, I urge my colleagues to support this motion and especially the compliance committee to make sure that whatever resolutions we arrive at on this group, on this matter, is carried out by the compliance committee. I so submit, Mr. President.
There are submission on this imminent collapse of the. I thought there was imminent collapse. So by the way, it has finally collapsed. So we go to the prayers. Prayer 1. Urge the Federal Ministry of Works and the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to, as a matter of urgency, embark on immediate repairs, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of the Zungeru Bridge in order to prevent further collapse of the old bridge, loss of lives, protect national assets, and ensure free flow of economic activities and security in the region. Amendment. Yes, distinguished Senator Alero.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, I want to amend this prayer. And I amend it as follows. Urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to, as a matter of urgency, embark on immediate repairs, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of the Yeru and Rara bridges in both Niger and Kebbi State in order to prevent further collapse of the old bridges, loss of lives, protect national assets, and ensure free flow of economic activities and security in the entire region.
Any seconder to the amendment? Mr. Yaya, our leader.
President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the amendment aptly made by distinguished Senator Muhammad Adamu. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, prayer 1 has been amended and has been seconded. Those who are in support of the amended prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2 also urge the relevant ministries and agencies to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge and put in place measures to avert further collapse. Yes, distinguished Senator Lengi.
Mr. President, my name is Senator Abdul Ninki. I look at this prayer severally, and I actually don't get any sense out of it. Look at the first prayer.
No, don't put it that way.
No.
Just say that.
I don't understand it.
No, say it is not elegant enough in the draft. Not that you don't make sense out of it. Even when you are saying you want to put in place measures to avoid further collapse, it means that it's still the same thing we said yesterday, imminent collapse.
In addition, sir, the prayer looks vague to me. See, in the first prayer, you mentioned Federal Ministry of Works. You also mentioned FEMA. In the second prayer, you say relevant ministries. Who are they? Relevant agencies. Who are they? If you know them, mention them here so that it gets to them. But when you mention relevant ministries, relevant agencies, while in the first one you mentioned the ministry, you mentioned the agency. So that is my problem with the prayer. So maybe Sani is there, he will be able to give us some ideas about it.
Your observation is sustained. Distinguished Senator Sani Musa, you may decide to refresh the prayer.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. I will amend it to say, also urge the relevant ministries, i.e., Ministry of Works and Ministry of Transport and Nigerian Railway Corporation to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge, because the old bridge is a railway bridge, is for railway crossing, not motor vehicles. So, and put in place measures to avoid further collapse, because the first bridge is collapsed. If now pressure is putting on the second bridge, it's eminently going to collapse.
Okay, the second bridge is for reinforcement.
Sir?
The second bridge is for reinforcement.
It's for rain, yeah.
So to put measures to ensure reinforcement.
Yeah, exactly.
The last time, I think you're an engineer. So please assist.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Patrick Sendube, representing Imo North. Sir, it is proper when we are referring projects, we refer to the actual ministry. There's nothing like ministries and others. Here, the relevant ministry here is works and railway only. Why? This is, if I've not seen the place, you know, some people, they will see bus covered so big, they'll call it bridge. But if it's actual bridge, the FEMA has nothing to do with such category of work. So we refer to Federal Ministry of Works and Nigerian Railway Corporation in the county. If you permit me, I can read it. We say, also urge the Federal Ministry of Works and the Nigerian Railway Corporation to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge and put in place measures to avert further collapse. Period. We don't need other ministries or agencies. No. Yes. To avert collapse. No. They say the other station has collapsed. It's just the second station.
So, yeah, like you said, we want the prayer to say that urge the Federal Ministry of Works and also the Nigerian Railway Corporation to take measures immediately to assess the structural situation of the whole bridge with a view to averting a future collapse, not a further collapse, just a future collapse. So Senator Sari, pick it from there so that he can second the amendment.
Also urge Federal Ministry of Works and Nigerian Railway Corporation to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge and put in place measures to avert future collapse. I so move. I'm moving this second.
The amendment has been moved. Is there any seconder? Yeah. Well, this time this is Senator Ifulaso.
My name is Senator Osita Ifulaso. I represent Igbo West. I rise to second the amendment as moved by Senator Sani Musa. I so second, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, prayer 2 has been amended by distinguished Senator Sani Musa and seconded by distinguished Senator Ifulaso to say, urge the Federal Ministry of Works and the Nigerian Railway Corporation, by implication the Federal Ministry of Transportation, to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge and take measures to avert future collapse. Those in support of the amended prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, further urge the relevant authorities to assess and evaluate the state of bridges across the country with a view to outlining long-term strategies for the sustenance of federal infrastructure nationwide. Any amendment? Yes, the Senator Blanco.
President of the Senate, my colleagues, I'm moving a motion for a little amendment. And my amendment is that from the discussion of the body of this motion that we did earlier, further urge the relevant authorities to access and evaluate the state of bridges and dams across the country with a view to outlining long-term strategies and dams, because from the discussion we had, we had an idea that it's not only the roads and bridges alone, but even our dams. So there's a need for general survey to that.
You are right. I think the only inclusion is the dam that is totally out of the body of the motion for today. But it's not a bad idea. Any second, yes, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dinos Yaro, Adama South. But Mr. President, before I second it, let me just observe that the word is assess, not access. So we should assess, not access. So with that, Mr. President, I second the amendment as moved by Senator Plan. I so second.
I've actually secretariat notes is ASSES. So assess, not access. Yes, the motion has been moved and seconded. The amendment of prayer 3, those in support of prayer 3 as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any additional prayer? Yes, the Senator Garba.
Thank you very much, the Senate President. And I'm happy to see you. You are looking well today.
for the trick.
Yeah, he wasn't looking too well yesterday. But, my distinguished colleagues, in my capacity as the chairman for compliance, I've noticed our resolutions are not backed by the financial resources to enable the MDAs to comply with. So we make resolutions, we look into the budget, there is no money for them to comply with those resolutions. With your permission, colleagues and the Senate President, I will add that in this particular emergency case, maybe because I'm negatively impacted that we should look for money from the contingency fund for the immediate repair of this bridge. I so submit, sir.
It's just an observation. The chairman of appropriation is saying that whether in your budget, whether you have a contingency funding arrangement that will be assessed to take care of this bridge, but that's actually an executive function. So I just want you to throw light on it. All right?
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleague. As you have rightly said, yes, there are provisions for contingency in the budget, and if there are emergencies like this that needs to be addressed, I think there should provision for it, which I believe the executive should be able to provide for to address this emergency that have happened. So, if we apply or we bring it to the notice of the executive through resolution of this Senate, they should be attended to immediately.
So in your additional prayer, you are saying that we should urge the federal government of Nigeria to utilize the contingency.
Your Excellency, I think somebody somewhere is giving us an. I know in Ministry of Work itself, there is a contingency for, and also the service-wide goods. There can be provision that can be made to address this emergency that I've just happened.
The Deputy Senate President, being a guru in appropriation.
Well, I think the chairman has said it all. There is always contingency fund in the service-wide goods. The minister, if he doesn't have money, can apply to Mr. President to ask that such fund can be invested for, so that emergency that they can be attended to. So what the chairman of the Action Committee said is right. And what even my brother, you brought something you are discussing. Gerba, listen, he talked about contingency fund. What he said is right. So the motion, the prayers can go directly to that it could be that money, the capital contingency can be utilized to attend to this emergency.
So this is Senator Garba, the chairman of appropriation and the deputy senate president are alluding to the fact that yes, there's always provision for this kind of unexpected emergency in the budget through service-wide goods or through contingency provision, even within the ministries, and that they could write and for approval of the president to take care of this disaster. So maybe you may just proceed a final additional prayer to say, urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Transport and Federal Ministry of Transport to immediately apply to Mr. President for release of funds from the contingency provision or the service by to arrest this imminent collapse. Yes, please sit down. Yes, we will move the additional prayer. Then you can now say that. He being the former chairman of appropriation, he knows what someone is arguing.
Water Council, okay, the motion goes this way. All the Federal Ministry of Works attend the request of these bridges and other bridges so affected by this year's flooding by seeking the utilization of funds from the service-wide group to be so utilized for this purpose. I so move.
So, with
Service-wide is domiciled in the, excuse me. But the contingency fund is domiciled in service-wide group. So when you say so, you know, no, when you say service-wide, it's no, it's there. You don't need to say, when you say service-wide, the money is domiciled in service-wide.
Okay, so it is not hidden though.
It's not hidden.
So
when you say service-wide, nobody knows where we are going to.
Nobody should put me as the money is hidden. It's not hidden.
Yeah.
Okay, this question, yes, Mr. Senator, I'll have
Thank you, Mr. President. I listened to the Deputy Senate President and the suggestion he has so given concerning the additional prayer. Mr. President, the position of Senator Alero, being the former chairman of Works, you understand that the budget of Works also contains what we call the contingency for issues like this. And for the Deputy Senate President that have recommended the service work, it's an omnibus budget that where we can attend to issues like this as well. So if Senator Alero is trying to add the contingency fund for work, is because we are directing this motion to the ministry, and the resolution we are sorting for is to the ministry. So, should in case, because if you want to apply for the service wide group, you have to apply straight to the president. While that of the works, the minister of works can immediately access it to attend to this. So, the period of the two, we must look at it to apply accordingly. So, if you are adding contingency as well from this group, it's also good for the urgency that is involved in that this particular. So I think the DSP can look it from that, amend the prayer, then we can second as amended. Thank you.
Let me hear briefly from the Senate President.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, Mr. and I'm alone at the given. Mr. President, we are talking about emergencies, and I want to align myself with the submission by the chairman, Committee on Appropriations. When you are talking about emergencies, in the Ministry of Water itself, which includes FEMA, there is provision for such contingencies. So if we really want to deal with emergencies in a very speedy way, we shouldn't restrict the Ministry of Works to asking for President to approve and rescue. And if we do that, we'll be sending the presidents that will come later to compassionate. I would suggest that we just leave it to the executive to decide where they get their money from. We assume there is money in the Ministry of Works for this, including FEMA. If they don't, they know where to go and look for this. What we need to do is to follow up our resolutions and know whether they have been implemented or not. If implemented, that's what we want. If not, then we can now look at the other way. But if we start saying, go to the service-wide halls, the emergency aspect will simply diminish because it will take some kind of very lengthy bureaucratic procedures. So I align myself with Chairman, Committee on Corporations. Minister of Works should deal with this. Thank you.
So this is Senator, Deputy Senate President.
Senator, what make you walk down here? What he said was that whenever they went to this or was to ask for it, they tell them they don't have money. Yes. For emergency. Is that what you told me? That's what they say, sir. There is no budget provision. That's what he said. And it's because of that I cancelled this board. He told me there's no money in the Ministry of Works. So that's why I cancelled this board.
Sir, we are talking about the resolution of the Senate. It's not an individual approach to the Ministry of Works. This is the resolution of the Senate. And once the resolution of the Senate gets there, I must give it attention accordingly. But if an individual approaches them, they will tell you they don't have money. They end there, but the resolution of the Senate with a letter from there, I think they should give it at it's an urgent matter, and it should be dealt with accordingly. So I would suggest the amendment to that position of the DSP, then we can move on from there, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Senator Alito wants to
Only yesterday, he had an interface with the military once, and he complained to us bitterly that the resolutions go forward to his office and repairs of broken bridges, repairs of roads that have been devastated, rising from flooding. He doesn't have the money to do the repairs. The resources provided in the budget are not adequate. He asked us to make provision, lump sum provision for contingency, so that it can take care of emergency. And in every year after the rainy season, the Ministry of Works do contact controllers of works in various states of the Federation to forward list of all roads and bridges that are broken. And they forward them to the headquarters, they compile report, and they use what they have in the budget, contingency funds in the budget. And he said that usually the amount provided is not enough. He said this year is only 10 billion naira. But what they have is more than 30 billion naira because of the unprecedented rainfall. So the use of service whiteboard is inevitable because we cannot allow our road infrastructure to remain in bad shape. It will affect economic activities, it will disrupt life and businesses. So both service whiteboard and contingency funds should be utilized to embark on immediate repairs of broken bridges and roads.
I think the problem we have is trying to limit it to service-wide roads. We should just direct the Federal Ministry of Works to utilize either the contingency provided in the budget of the ministry or from any other source. Yes, or from any other source. They have, there is this NNPCL tax credit scheme. They have a lot of avenues that they can. It's still part of the federal government scheme. Tax credit takes time. Okay, so based on the cacophony of voices, now couch the amendment.
Urge the Federal Ministry of Works to attend to the repairs of this bridge, or if you like, I'll mention the name of the bridge, and other bridges so affected by this air flooding by seeking the utilization of emergency funds wheresoever, emergency fund wheresoever. Okay, whether from contingency funds domicile at the Ministry of Works and service-wide goes in the Ministry of Finance. To be used to utilize. Okay, yeah, that's what.
So it's almost the last.
Excellency, Senate President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Salim Mustafa, representing Kwara Central. I rise to second the amendment that the service-wide vote and the contingency fund should be utilized to address some of the damages on this immediate works on the Zubero bridge between Niger and Kebbi State, so as to be able to meet up the immediate repairs. Thank you.
Yes, so the motion has been rephrased by the Deputy Senate President and properly seconded by the Senior Senator Samuel Mustafa that we should urge the Federal Ministry of Works to utilize the contingency funds domiciled in the Federal Ministry of Works or funds domiciled in the service-wide goods to cater for the immediate repair of the Zubero Bridge and all other bridges that are in this state of disrepair across the nation. Those in support of the motion as rephrased, as an additional prayer, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I think at this stage I must thank all our colleagues who have made contributions to this all-important motion, and to say that we have now done justice to this imminent collapse of the Zubero Bridge. Okay, to the collapse of the Zubero Bridge and the imminent collapse of the old bridge that has a railway track on it. I think that's the way it is. So, and the Senior Senator Salim Musa, I'm sure you are very happy. And the Committee of Compliance, I noted the fact that we were worried about where the money will come from. But the three principal actors, the former chairman of Works, Senator Anero, and the Deputy Senate President, the former chairman of Appropriation, the incumbent chairman of Appropriation, all have now stated that yes, indeed, that there are provisions made in the Ministry of Works for emergencies of this nature, and where that provision is not enough, they have a right to approach Mr. President to take care of the emergency through the service-wide route. And so it's now the business of your committee to ensure that the letters, the motions, the letters of the motions are saved on the Ministry of Works and that of Transport, and then we monitor the compliance. So I thank all our colleagues for their interest in the welfare and the well-being of Nigerians as expatiated in this motion that we have just done with. Yes. Dismiss the leader Yaya Amaka point about that.
Mr. President, I would have presented this point of order much earlier, but because of some issues, I wasn't able to make it early enough. But thank you for your permission for me to raise that point of order at this point in time. Mr. President, I'm coming on order 10, which is privilege, and order 42, which is personal discrimination. And Mr. President, is about the fake news and the rumors that was circulating yesterday, in the social media about an alleged attempt by northern senators to effect a change of leadership of this revered institution. Mr. President, I consider these statements as a thinly disguised attempt to bring a very serious division in this institution. Elections that were conducted have been conducted, and the leadership have won the election. We have gone more than 1 year, 8 months,
And under your leadership, you have guided the Senate to this position. I am a northern senator. Therefore, my privilege has been compromised, has been abridged by these allegations. I am a senior member of this chamber and also a senior member of the Northern Senators. And I can assure you that there has been no attempt that I know of by any caucus or any group among Northern Senators to bring this code or make any attempt to challenge the legitimacy of your election or to undermine the work, the good work that we have been doing in this Senate. I consider my privilege breached because, Mr. President, I think whoever is bringing this issue want to bring damage among the interpersonal and official relationships among us, your constituents. Both Northern Senators and their colleagues from the South have been working in committees and in the Senate harmoniously. Therefore, any attempt to bring any kind of discord along divisional lines in this institution is not going to augur well for either this institution or for this nation at large. This is the premier legislative house of this nation. For anybody to bring division across ethnic or regional lines is undermining the progress of our democracy and is undermining the capacity of this institution to deliver in the process of governance of this country. Therefore, we must rise united under your leadership to make sure that this kind of discord is frowned upon, is completely negated, so that the kind of unity that we have forged in the last 18 months can be put, sustained and put on proper foundation. Therefore, Mr. President, I rise with due sense of personal heart. And I'm sure a lot of my colleagues also feel the same. For us to be characterized, I feel hard for me to be characterized as another senator, as either belonging or supporting or conniving with anybody to bring the leadership of this institution down. Mr. President, I thank you for giving me this privilege, and I also thank members of the Senate. I have never in my life been in a process where I stand to divide this nation or to associate in order to bring or to divide the nation across ethnic and regional lines. We were leaders in the 9 Senate, fortunately the President Emeritus of the Senate was there in the 9 Senate. We never had this kind of thing. Therefore, I think this is the work of certain subterranean moves which should be resisted by the Senate to bring discord, because this discord, we have about 2 years, 4 months to go to the end of our term. This discord has the capacity of bringing the work of this Senate to ridicule. And all of us should stand united behind our leadership to make sure that this issue, this thing does not happen. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Point of order is sustained. Yes, any other contribution? Distinguished Senator Nengi.
Mr. President, my name is Senator Ningi, and a member of the Northern Center. Even though this is not a debating issue, I also came across this story yesterday after the session, and I was actually taken aback. I had a lot of calls. This is about my 17 and a half years in this National Assembly, and that my antecedent as a senator, as a northern senator, is never hidden by anybody. But when a story like that emanated, I was taken aback as to why, and from my little exploration of that so-called fake news, there was an intention by some people outside this chamber, according to my sources, in making sure that they are further again bring to a collision between yourself and other senators. And for all intents and purposes, so far, so well, in spite of everything, people could see that we have been able to relate with you, particularly you and the Deputy Senate President, in the course of this, our legitimate assignment as representatives of the people. So I've seen no reason why such rumors will emanate. And believe me, if there are indications that we're not comfortable with their leadership, or the leadership of the Senate President, we're not going to do a fake news. We'll come promptly and tell you that we are not comfortable. And this is who we are. This is how we are. Nobody should be scared of coming out to say, no, I'm not comfortable with this. And by all intents and purposes, history has shown when we have grievances, we put them across and they are out and move forward. Having said that, I think it is important for some of us that are probably being seen as the frontliners to say, without working my friends, my colleagues from the north, that I move that will reinforce a vote of confidence in both you, the Senate President, and the Deputy Senate President, and the entire leadership of the National Assembly in this regard. And I'm very positive that this is the way to go about it. Anybody who wants to create any problem, going out and create it on themselves, but not on our behalf. And I tell you, once there is no crisis, it is established to blacklist, and make it as if we are against the President of the Senate, it begins that much. So I move that on behalf of other senators, that will vote a vote of confidence in your leadership, that of the Deputy Senate President, and the entire Senate leadership as we resolve to move as one people. I shall move.
The new Senator Abbas.
Distinguished colleagues, a lot has been said on these rumors that happened yesterday. Mr. President, I want to join the previous Senator Aminu Abbas, Adamawa Central, Adamawa State. I want to join my colleagues and second the motion as moved by the Senior Senator Abdul Negi that this Senate do vote a confidence vote in the leadership of the Senate and the entire leadership of the Senate under the Senior Senator Gospel Apamio, the common president of the Senate. I so support.
We would have refused, but I don't know what is happening to Senator Ababoro. He's talking about amendment. Minority leader. There's a motion. He said amendment.
All the senators, not just the northern senators.
Okay. The civil senator Ababoro says that the vote of confidence proposed to be passed on the Senate President and the Deputy Senate President and the leadership of the Senate should not come only from Northern senators, and therefore that it should be across board. That is your amendment. The civil senator, is it supported? You want to second the amendment?
I, Muhammad Sani Musa, Niger East Electoral District. I'm seconding what the minority leader have amended from the initial motion that was passed. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, in a surprising move, the Senate has reviewed the circumstances of the rumors of yesterday that Northern senators were hatching a plan and that DSS, which did not occur, had taken over the chambers because of the intended impeachment of the leadership of the Senate. And because of that, distinguished after the speech on a personal explanation by distinguished Senator Yahya Abubakar, our leader, Abdullahi Yahya, our leader, and distinguished Senator Ningi has moved a motion that a vote of confidence should be passed on the leadership of the Senate, and seconded by distinguished Senator Abbas. This is further amended by the minority leader of the Senate, that it should be the entirety of the Senate and not just Northern senators. And this has also been further seconded by distinguished Senator Sani Musa. In a very humble way, I feel humble, but I'm obligated to put the question. Those in support that this vote of confidence of the Senate leadership be carried, say aye. Those against, say nay. They are not here. The ayes have it. Let me thank my distinguished senators on behalf of my brothers, the Deputy Senate President, and the leadership, and assure you that the comradeship and the bond existing between us in the 10th Senate will continue. No amount of rumor, no social media will come here to break that bond. I thank you for this, and we are very humbled. May confidence not be misplaced. We'll do our best in the coming months and in the coming years to justify the confidence that you have placed in us. Thank you, and may Almighty Allah bless each and every one of you. Leader of the Senate, can you just a few announcements before we depart? First, there is going to be a meeting of the PDP Senate caucus by 3 p.m. I don't know which of the factions, but Senator Boogie, there is going to be a meeting of the PDP joint caucuses today by 3 p.m. This will happen in meeting 4.226. That is shortly after this by 3 p.m. And then every single member is invited. In fact, the civil senator, all factions are invited. The civil senators are also invited to attend a night of tribute in honor of our late distinguished brother and leader, distinguished Senator Dr. Jonathan Silas Fringina, happening today, 17th day of October 2024. This will take place, this night of tribute will take place today at Armed Forces Officers Mess, Asokoro, Abuja, behind Lungi Barracks. Behind Lungi Barracks. Well, this is slated for 4 p.m. So it will enable us to finish and get back to our works. 4 p.m. They are all highly invited. This is signed by Senior Senator Abamoro, the leader of the Senate delegation to the burial ceremonies of late Senator Swingina. No, it's not PDP, it's the Senate. No, it's only in the caucus meeting that I said all factions are hereby invited. I said all ABC, all PDP factions are invited to the caucus meeting. I didn't limit it. And in the event that there is no faction, then it means that the entire PDP senators are invited to the meeting. That is in Kano. Not at the national level. But PDP has a cancerous situation at the national level. Further announcement. This is to notify distinguished senators that the National Day of Tribute for Dr. Emmanuel Iwoyawo. This is from Hannes Ndigo. For Dr. Emmanuel Iwoyawo, CFR, will hold tomorrow, Friday, 18th day of October 2024. Venue will be at the National Ecumenical Center at the Central Business District, and time will be 4 p.m. You are kindly requested to attend. This is from the Civil Senator Osita Ifunaso, Chairman, Contact and Mobilization Committee of the National Burial Program of late Elder Statesman. 4 p.m. tomorrow at the Medical Center. Yes. There is a slight personal announcement. Some of my colleagues may wish to accompany me to a class reception. My class is doing a Thanksgiving service on Sunday in Calabar. For the class of 1987, I gave their 86, 87, they are like 37, 38 years after leaving universities. So those of us that are still alive, we want to go back to that university to do a Thanksgiving service to thank God for our lives, and also to pray for the repose of the souls of our classmates who have passed on. And we say, may their souls rest in heaven, please. So any of you that wishes to accompany us, you just contact the fellowship. Arrangements have been made, and that will be in Calabar. The Thanksgiving service will actually be on Sunday, but the movement will be tomorrow. Because you know Calabar, actually the full meaning of Calabar is come and rest and be at peace. Let's do C-A-L-A-B-A-R. Come and rest and come and live and be at rest. So C, come, A, and live, and A, be at rest. So some of you may have to pack your things. You may not need to come back to Abuja. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President.
For adjournment.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, having concluded today's proceeding on the other paper, I hereby move that the Senate do adjourn till Tuesday, 22 October 2024 at 11 a.m.
The minority leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate adjourns its sitting to Tuesday, 22 October 2024. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion of the move and seconded that this Senate do adjourn to the 22nd day of October 2024 at 11 a.m. prompt. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.